in sales 2016, and he expects Mercedes to remain ahead, and he also sees Mercedes better positioned on the model side and on the profit side.
Thanks again, Orage, for the updates coming from the European markets. We hope to speak with you again tomorrow. Over now to Wall Street, where U.S. stock index futures pointed to a slightly higher open this morning as traders focus on earnings and rising oil prices. The commodity moved higher following media reports that OPEC countries would extend their output freeze deal. The Dow Jones was around 0.08% higher on Tuesday morning. The S&P 500 was also 0.18% higher, while the Nasdaq was 0.2% higher. And in Asia, equities finished mixed today after the Reserve Bank of Australia released its March meeting minutes and the dollar remained soft. The ASX 200 slipped 0.07% to close at 5,774.6, dragged by its material sub-index, which was down 0.58%. The Japanese benchmark closed down 0.34%, or 65.7 points at 19,455.88, as the yen remained below the 113 handle seen last week. In South Korea, the Kospi jumped 0.99%, or 21.4 points, to 2,178.38. Former President Park Geun-hye apologized to the country as she arrived at prosecutors' offices for further questioning as a criminal suspect in a corruption probe. Chinese shares closed up positive, saw the Shanghai Composite adding 0.35% at 3,262.2, and the Shenzhen Composites finished up 0.39% at 2,043.94. Now let's continue our coverage of the 2017 edition of the Africa CEO Forum, and located in the right on the Indian Ocean. Mauritius is one of Africa's smallest countries, and the country, however, is one of the continent's most vibrant and modern financial gateway for Africa and international investors. Raoul Goufflet is the Deputy Chief Executive of Mauritius Commercial Bank, the island's largest financial institution, whose shares account for nearly 23% of the Mauritius Stock Exchange. Well, he spoke with Channels Television business editor Bosin Omofaye in Geneva at the two-day Africa CEO Forum. And Mr. Raoul Goufflet speaks to his Bridging Africa and Asia with a full suite of financial services as well as outlook on footprints into West Africa.
We've always been very active in assisting government initiatives into promoting Mauritius as a financial center. MCB has been pioneer in the setup of the Mauritius Stock Exchange, which has automatically led us to become the largest stock that is being traded on a daily basis on the Mauritius Stock Exchange. I think we account for about 25% of the market cap of the Mauritius Stock Exchange. But throughout the years, we have also been very active into promoting Mauritius as a financial services center. And the initiative led by the government to sign as many double taxation agreements, treaties with as many countries as possible. India was the best example some 6 or 7 years ago, which has contributed to the development of the offshore, what we call the offshore industry in Mauritius, that we now try to replicate with the African continent, is the testimony of our ambition to diversify our markets and to try and promote Mauritius as a hub for financial services. Obviously, as you can hear from me, we have the advantage that we have a bilingual community. We speak English and we speak French, as good as I can speak English and as good as I can speak French. But this has really helped us create leverage into international market to promote Mauritius, not only as a financial services industry, but also as a hub for call centers. And this is probably not very well known. But we are a very significant call center hub for a lot of French companies that have decided to set up in Mauritius. And also because of the geographical position of Mauritius, which is within the reach of any international center on overnight flights, and also the fact that we don't have any time zone issues with our main market, which are Europe and essentially Eastern Africa. The fact that we also are members of the SADC and COMESA, is also quite a significant achievement for us, and has been one of the key that we have leveraged on to tap those markets on the African continent.
I'm interested in your Pan-African footprint. How do you move from that small island on the Indian Ocean to the 54 countries in Africa? Are you expanding? Are you seeking new banking licenses? Are you looking at new markets across Africa, perhaps in Kenya and elsewhere in Ethiopia, where you can set up new shops and trying to leverage the bigger economy of the sub-Saharan Africa?
I think it's all about strategic decisioning and agility. We have always, as a community, thought and known that Mauritius was too small a market for anybody living in Mauritius. There's always been the promotion that we should look outside of the shores of Mauritius. And this agility has been one of the key motions of MCB. We have always tried to look at the potential of those new markets. We have also realized that partnerships are key, and this is evidence in our African strategy. We have never had so far the intention to have an external growth or to build ourselves our own bank or to do acquisitions. We actually have started our African journey by creating the right partnership with banks in those markets that we believe were key for our customers. And this is how we grew our franchise on the African continent. Obviously,
what countries do you consider as very key for you?
As many as the continent, if I want to be humble, but we have restricted ourselves for the time being to about 20-25 countries, and we are trying to segment and to select those countries depending on the needs of our customers, but also depending on the needs that we identify in those countries as to what is it from a financial perspective that they need. Do they need correspondent banking, payments, trade infrastructure? Do they need outsourcing of their credit card capabilities? Do they need investment management? Do they need private banking services? Do they need private equity? Do they need access to capital markets? We have this palette of services within the MCB group. And I think this is what makes the MCB such a force on the African continent.
We have more on the 2017 Africa CEO Forum when Business Incorporated returns in a moment. Please stay with us.